putting the onus on the Prime Minister to act against tainted politicians. The Supreme Court today in its verdict has said that those in conflict with the law should not be allowed to discharge duty as ministers. In its ruling, the court says it reposes faith in the Prime Minister's wisdom. While the BJP has welcomed the move, the Congress is now saying that the Prime Minister must take the court's observations seriously and walk the talk.
The Supreme Court was absolutely right in saying that this is not maintainable and we are dismissing it, but the Supreme Court did go and put the ball in the Prime Minister's court. But the problem is basically in the present political climate, how much choices does the Prime Minister have? If you're going to have somebody who has no criminal charges at all of any kind or including FIRs, and I think you will find some people are there, but maybe not amongst the people he wants to make ministers. So therefore I think he has a difficult choice to make, and it is his call, and he has to decide what is politically expedient.
Prime Minister must look at it very carefully. Even his party president, a large number of his ministers in Gujarat, some of them in the centre here, they are all under cloud. And in fact, actually, what is unfortunate is that ever since the new government has come, the kind of investigation that was going on, especially in cases related to Gujarat, also seem to have slackened down. And there is an element of doubt whether really justice will be done or not. I think Prime Minister would be well advised to listen to this carefully and ensure that in reality justice is done, because these are not just stray remarks by Supreme Court. When Supreme Court makes remarks, obviously it's well thought out. These are senior judges and come in a place where once they say something, and remember, this is a kind of a judgment. This is not a stray remark during the hearings, because sometimes judges can make remarks during the hearings which of course have no validity.
वो आखिर बताएं दागी किसको कहते हैं? हम लोग राजनीति में बहुत से आंदोलन करते हैं, बहुत सी लड़ाई लड़ते हैं. आंदोलन लड़ाई जनता के लिए होती, कभी महंगाई के खिलाफ, कभी बेरोजगारी के खिलाफ, कभी आतंकवाद के खिलाफ भी होती है. अगर उस समय राज्य सरकार उस आंदोलनों में हम लोगों पर मुकदमे दर्ज करते तो क्या हम दागी हो गए? मैं तो देश की जनता से कहूंगा कि इन शब्दों पर थोड़ा सा जनता अगर सावधान हो जाए, क्योंकि अगर इन पे दागी कहा जाने लगा तो फिर डेमोक्रेसी में कोई नेता पब्लिक काज के लिए लड़ाई नहीं लड़ेगा.
This is a judgment which assumes a lot of import given the political climate and given the recent mood of the Supreme Court, where we've seen the court step in and pass several reformative judgments. In that spirit, again today the Supreme Court has spoken its mind. This is the Constitution Bench ruling which has come out from the top court. Supreme Court making it very clear and leaving it to the wisdom of the Prime Minister and Chief Minister, and saying that it's a legitimate constitution expectation that the polity can have of the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister to not have any such person who has had charges framed against him or her to be a part of the unit cabinet or to be a part of the legislative assembly. That essentially is the crux of the ruling. This is a judgment which has been written by three eminent sitting Chief Justices of the Supreme Court, and clearly so far as the unanimous opinion is concerned, Supreme Court not stepping into the domain, but at the same time this ruling putting a lot of moral pressure on the government, on any government who is in power, to ensure that no person against whom charges have been framed should be a part of governance. Essentially, the Supreme Court again reiterating the doctrines of trust, good faith and good governance as has been enshrined in the Constitution. And since this is a 5-judge Constitution Bench ruling of the Supreme Court, clearly this assumes great import going forward, and in the spirit and nature of the recent Supreme Court judgments which has arisen in the past, this is in continuum going forward and speaking about Supreme Court's mind as to how it is viewing the entire political climate of present day, and at the same time passing some directions which are in the nature of expressions to the government, which it hopes going forward any government will implement.